Bear with me, guys. I'm going to stop this real quick and I'm going to put it back on screen sharing here in a minute. So.
You can view and access command through that way.
Say that one more time. Okay, I'm going to reset my password real quick. For some reason, password's not working.
I'll text you.
Reset my password real quick. For some reason, okay, I'm good. I'm going to go ahead through the steps of Docusign. So first thing we're going to do is I'm in the command page, but I'm going to find a client that I put in, and we're just going to start from the basics, how I can set it up, Docusign, and communicate with my client through that way. So please stop me if you have any questions, and I'm going to go through this process. So I have some context. So I'm going to go to opportunities is the first step. And I'm going to find a buyer. I'm going to work with a buyer today. So as soon as it pulls up, I'm going to click on the cultivate. And I'm going to work with Alexia today. So this is a client that I have talked to in the past, and they're not ready to buy yet, but I'm just going to go ahead and pretend that they are. So, so I've created a opportunity, and now I'm going to communicate through them by sending them information through Docusign. So I'm going to go ahead and click Smith. And the first thing you want to do is create some information on command about them. So when you set up Docusign, a lot of his information is going to be sent over electronically to Docusign, and it will already be pre-filled as well. So these are the names of the two clients, husband and wife, and they're looking to buy in 8 months. So I've done their profile. So I'm going to go to Documents. And from here, there's 3 areas. There's consultation, there's under contract, and close. So the first step is all right, so I'm going to drop down to under contract. And these are already pre-filled documents that the Market Center is going to need. So we'll take 2 of these documents. We're going to take the buyer rep agreement and the IABS form. So the first step that we're going to do is I want to start a transaction with them. So I'm over here on the right. I'm going to click to start the transaction, and I'm going to go into Docusign. Okay. So now I'm going to log into Docusign. Okay. So now I'm in Docusign, and I've created an opportunity with my buyer, and now I want to send her two things for her to sign. And the first step is the documents. I want to send her the IABS form and the buyer rep. So there's a couple ways you can do this. I'm going to go to the right. I'm going to go to add. And I'm going to go to Docusign Forms. And then from here, I'm going to go to our Market Center KW3, KW93. You can go to the KW Market Center, or if you want, you can go to the TAR. But let's go to the KW, and I'm going to find the IABS form. So I'm going to type it in. Okay, so I click on this, really simple. I'm going to add this. And then I'm going to add one more form to the this buyer as well. So I'm going to add the buyer rep form. See if I can just see it. Okay, I don't see it here, so I'm going to jump back to the TAR, and I'm going to find the buyer's rep. Termination. Here we go, right here. So click on it. Okay. So what I've done is I've added these two documents. I've added the IABS and the buyer's rep. And there's a couple of things that I want you to do before we are going to send them to the buyer for signatures. I always check details. I want to make sure the details are correct. So if you do this here first, it's going to transfer onto the document. So it's important that you fill in the details first. Okay. So I'm going to start here. Don't have a property yet, but I'm going to make sure I have her email and everything. So we'll go to buyer down on the right. Okay, first name is Alexia Smith, got her email, and her husband, Darren. I don't have his email. I need to get that. Okay, and then you put your buyer's agent information as well. So if you do this in this step first, it's going to transfer over to the document. You don't have to type it in yourself on the document. Okay, so now we're ready to go to documents. Okay, so the first step here is what you want to do is you want to make sure everything looks good. So I'm going to click on this little circle button on the top left. I'm going to click it. I'm going to click both of them. Okay, and for DocuSign, you're going to hit this little pen, which is going to create an envelope where you can send it to your client. And in this case, I'll send it to Alexia. So I'm going to click it. Okay, and now each document is going to show up in the DocuSign, in the DocuSign area. And what I'm going to do here is, these are the two documents that I'm going to use, and I'm going to add the recipient. So I'm going to go pre-tag roles, and I'm going to find Alexia. Okay, so buyer 1, buyer 2, and Alexia should be right there. Okay, so I'm going to click on her, and then I'm going to click on Darren as well. Okay, and then I could add the buyer agent, which is, okay. So I click add selected. Okay, and now there's an email. So these forms are going to be sent to her in a minute, and I could just tell her in the email subject, please sign these forms. Okay. All right. And you can put a message if you want. So after this step, you're going to you're going to click next. Second. Okay. So I have the information. Now I'm going to go make sure the document that I'm going to send to her looks good, and if there's anything I need to add. So this is the IABS form. I need to add my information to this. So the way you do this, really simple, is you go up to the top left and you make sure you're in the right category. This is me, so I'm going to put my name. Drag it right here. Okay, and then I'm going to go to text, and I'm going to add my license number, and I'm going to add my email. And I'm going to put the date or the phone number. Okay. Okay. So it's really easy. Once I do this, I can just type it in. Sorry. Text. Okay. I'm going to go to my phone. 72. 904. I'm a good typer today. 904-777. Okay, good. All right. So it should automatically populate my name, my email. And now I'm going to double check on my buyer. We'll need to sign here and it's here as well. So I'm going to go up to the top left. I'm going to go up to Alexia, and I'm just going to put her initial right there. Okay. I'm going to go up to her husband, Jeremy. I'm going to put his initial right there. Okay. Okay. So by dragging this when this populates, it's going to come in an email format to them, and they're going to click on this and just put their initial. And it's important to make sure, in the past I messed up before. I put my name here as a buyer tenant accidentally. So make sure the colors correspond with the name up here in your client. Blue would be Alexia, and then purple would be Damien. Good. All right, so let's go do the buyer's rep. Just pull it down. Here's some auto-populated information that has carried across. So I'm gonna put in our city straight. Okay. So let me put this in here. $75093. Just drag this across. Okay. And just want to make sure everything looks good. You can put information about how length of your representation, You put that right here. Now it already shows their information where they need to sign or initial. And so good. So this is information that you can add to if you want to put your days. I'm going to put Collin County right here. Okay. Let me know if there's any questions that you have as I go through this, and then I can help you out as well. So once everything looks good, I go down here to the bottom. There's my signature. I would probably click this box right here, or I will click this box, and everything looks good. And then if you want to double check it, hit Recipient Preview up here on the top. And this is what your client will see. They'll click Start, and it'll take them right to the boxes where they will need to sign. So just want to make sure they have everything. Okay. So this is me right here in the yellow. This has been sent to me already. This is what I will click and initial as well. So, all right, I'm going to finish. Okay. And once everything looks good, then you click send, and it will go right to your clients as well. So any questions? Is there any questions that you have about Docusign? So I'm going to go back. Go back one more. A couple tips that I wanted to share with you guys as well is some of these forms, like they're already pre-populated. What I've done at home, not here at this campus, but at home, is I have put the information in for the brokerage on a majority of these, and I just pull them up from my hard drive into the room that I'm using for my client. And for example, I put my name in here in the full name, but at home I already have my name already and put all the information in already. So I just pull that up, and the only two things I need will be the buyer's initial or the seller's initials for the IABS as well. So that's just a tip. If you want to pre-populate it at home and then save it as a PDF and then pull it into your room from your computer. It's a tip that I learned as well. Okay. All right. So this is just DocuSign 101. I'm going to give you 2 more tips real quick, and then if there's any questions, we can go from there. Okay. When you create this room, you're giving this ID right here. This is an ID for this buyer, this specific buyer. And what you can do is when you go to messages, not messages, envelopes, you can send this document straight. Like if she signs it, let's say she signs it at her house. She prints it out, she signs it, and she sends it to you as a PDF. You can send that straight to this room using this ID. And what you can do, this is something I learned, is if you're going to send it from email to this Docusign, you have an email address here through Docusign. And I wanted to share that real quick. So I'm going to go to Inbox. And if you look up here on the top left, you have an email. So this is just another easy way where you could send a document straight into the room that you're working on. Instead of having to save it, download it, you can send it straight to this email, and it will go to this email, this inbox right here. And if you put the ID number, a hashtag with the ID number on the subject line, let's say there's a document that you want to add to this for them to sign it, you can send that, put the hashtag and the ID number into the subject of an email, and it will go straight to this room that you're in. So I did come across that as well. So that's a neat function if you ever need that. So if I'm going to go to dashboard, okay, I'm going to go back to rooms. Okay, so these are all the rooms that I've created in the last couple weeks. Couple test ones. Here's some buyers, here's some sellers. So if I go back to the buyer that I'm working with today, what's neat about Docusign too is also the history. If you click on history, it'll show you everything you've done in the last, according to this room, in this room. It'll show you everything that you've done the last couple, or the last times that you've worked in here. So, all right, I'm talking too much. Is there any questions? Can I help anybody? Anybody have any questions? Is everybody good on Docusign? Are there any questions that you may have that could be helpful? Lincoln, you got any questions? Mike, Teresa, Tiffany?
So can we create the templates within here, or like when I'm using zip forms, I can create the template and pull it from there. Can I do that here in Docusign, or does it have to be that PDF version you were talking about?
You can do that through Docusign.
Okay.
Would anybody object? Can I go over there and create a template? Would anybody object? That might be, I know we're at basic Docusign, but I think that would be valuable. So why don't we go do that? Anybody object? All right, so I'm going to go over to zip forms. And what she's talking about is creating a template. So give me 1 second. I'll show you how we can do that. Okay, so just give me 1 second. Okay. So I'm going to go through the way I get through zip forms. She's asking how to create a template, so I'm going to go through Netris real quick. So give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm on the matrix page, and I'm going to go to zip forms. So, second. And this is a easier way to create a template for that you can pre-populate to make it easier for you when you are sending documents through Docusign. So All right, so I went through Matrix. I logged in through the Matrix website, and it should pop up here. Okay. So when I go to templates, this is off the zip forms, and I'm going to go to templates. And what I have created is I've created a template for a buyer, for a listing, and for a lease offer. And then I have created a couple with title companies that I use. Okay, so these are just days that things that I just added to make it easier on me. So so again, let's work with buyer, and I can show you exactly how we can set up a template if that would work. So let me show you this template, what it entails. When I click on a buyer, I have already all the forms that I need that will need to get signed by my client. Okay. So these have already been formed, and if there's any adjustments that I need to make, I can add to them by clicking on them. So let's just say I want to make a change to the IABS. Okay. Now you notice I have not added the names of Bob or Mike as well in the name of our brokerage. So I need to update this. But you can fill it out right here, and then when you go through Docusign, when you send it through Docusign, it's pretty much the same process. But using zip forms is a little easier. And there's two people in the office that are really familiar with zip form, and that would be Kim Sumlin and Joe Flores. They are experts, they're pros at this. So if you have any questions on zip forms. So basically this is, you can pre-populate these forms, save them, and then when you're ready to use them, you can use Docusign to send them out. So it's a quicker way to fill out information rather than going through Docusign to fill out the information. I think zip forms is a lot easier, in my opinion, to fill in information. So if I was going to fill in information, there's a neat little tool. You can go into Fast Fill up on the top, and you can put all your information in. You can just click on it and add it pretty quick. Docusign, you have to drag the text over. You have to lay it in the box and then type it in. This is already pre-populated. So that's the main reason why I like using zip forms. So I hope this is helpful for a few of you guys. Again, zip forms is, in my opinion, it's easier. You can add your parties. You can add your buyer information right here. So it's very simple, very easy, very user-friendly, in my opinion.
So if I create the template here though for that document, I can't keep it as a packet or an envelope in Command or Docusign so that I can just pull from there, or do I have to come back to zip forms to do it that way?
If you save it, if you save the form, like say you're going to do an IABS form and you put everything in, and then you don't have the signature yet of your buyer or your seller, you can save it here. You can also save it in Docusign as well. So if I were in your shoes and I wanted to create a filled out form already, I would create it here in zip form, and then I would send it over and save it through. You can save it here, and then you can also save it in Command as well through Docusign. So if that answers your question, you can save it in both places. Yes.
Okay, so I can have that template set up in Command so that I can pull from that once I've got it set up.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I believe that's correct. So, all right. So, let me think. Okay. So if I'm going to go down, let's say I want to change it. I found a person that wants to sell. So I'm going to go to my listing. And these are all forms that I will need to have my my seller fill out. And we'll go from there. So, okay. And I want to keep this basic. There's some more things we could do, and we can do that. The advanced class, we can, I don't know, I think they still do a zip form class as well. So, okay. Let me show you one more thing, and then I'll let you guys go. Or if you guys have any questions, we can definitely answer questions. So, all right, so I'm going to go back to Docusign. Okay. Now let's say in Docusign, let's say we want to make a change. So if I want to make a change to a document, so let me go to my room, and let's say we want to change the price of a contract. So if I go to documents, right now I just have two forms. Let's make it easy. Let's make a change on the buyer agreement. Okay. I haven't sent it to her yet, but I'm going to go ahead to create envelope. Okay. And I'm going to put her recipient. And so buyer 1, buyer 2. So what I'm doing is just, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to have her initial a change. When you add these pre-tag roles, basically what you're doing is you're clicking on that you're going to send it to her, you're going to send it to him, and then it also come to you. So if there's something that you need to sign or change. So if I'm going to make a change, I'm just going to send it to me. I'm going to make a quick edit. So I'm going to add selected. Okay, so it's just coming to me. I'm going to make a change, and then once I get it changed, then I'll send it to her. So let me just add. So if I'm going to hit next, so now it's going to come straight to me. And I can change a date. I can change an offer price. I can change the date on the length of representation. Let's say she wants to hold off. She wants to extend the length of the representation. So I'll just use a text box. And let's say it was, she wants to extend it a month. So we can just put 11/1, or what's the date today? 11/13-20. And then we can add it to, let's go 2-1-22. Okay, so if you want to make a change, let's say you want to add a change, a couple options you can do. What you can do is, if you go up to the Markup Tools, and now I just have a line, and what I'll do is I'll just drive a line right through it. Okay, and then you can add a new date if you want. So that's just a tool if you want to add something that's already been signed. So you'll cross this out, put in the new date, and just have her initial it and forth. So, all right. Any questions? Is there anything else I can help you with? The thing with Docusign is just the
Brock,
more you, yeah.
So, Brock, can I ask you a question on what you just did?
Sure.
So then when you resend it for her initial
Yeah.
there, do you have to mark where you need it initialed, or is she just initialing the whole page again?
Oh, you'll just initial it right where it is. So
Okay,
if I'm going to send it, I'll go up to her. I don't have her in the room yet. I was going to mark it up and then I was going to resend it to her. But I could have had her room up here too. So just imaginative that her name is there. So I would click on her name and then I would go to standard fields. And then I would just drag, if this is her, after I've already done this, then I would just get her an initial. I would just drag it like right here.
okay, just where you need it. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
just
you.
like that. Yeah, so if that helps. So
Yes, thank you.
just like in anything, the more you do with it, the more you play with it, the easier it is. I used to, when I started, I was a dot loop guy. Dot loop was very easy, and now we've changed it to Docusign. So the more I've done it, the easier it becomes. I do like the zip form aspect of it. Going through zip forms is a little easier than dragging stuff. It's a little bit cumbersome. So zip form allows you to put information in the market area, or it allows you to do it easier than dragging and putting stuff like that. So that's in my opinion. So I like the zip form aspect. So good. Well, I know it's Friday. I know you guys are excited for the weekend, hopefully. So if there's any other questions, I'll be around if you guys want to take off. You're welcome to. So anything else I can help you with?
Thank you, Brock.
You're welcome. I hope this was helpful. I didn't want to get too advanced. I wanted to keep it as simple as I could. So I'm glad you guys came. Hope you guys have a good weekend.
Thanks, Rob.
Yep. Talk to you guys soon. Mike, you have any questions?